So what is ad fraud? In simple terms, ad fraud is if you as an advertiser are like spending a budget on campaigns, but you don't get any real users out of it. So your budget goes to invalid clicks, your budget goes to low quality clicks, and all those clicks don't get you any conversions or any signups or any installs. So basically what you do, you give away your money and you get nothing in return. To look at the US, EU, and APAC countries. And we got like a kind of combination to get you the best statistics. So what we actually saw that especially finance and telecom, they are like industries that are like hit by ad fraud. But if we look at the US and EU and APAC countries, we can see that mainly retail and travel agencies are like impacted by ad fraud. And how much are you impacted? So in SpiderF, we could see for this year already was like the forecast was 41.4 billion US dollars before any protection. So around 51.8% of companies is impacted by the budget for protection. When we look at the US specifically, in 2004, there was like a risk of 11.78 billion US dollars. In Europe this year, around 5 billion. And in the APAC countries, even around 22.8 billion dollars. So that brings us in total, if you're also gonna look at other regions, around 35 to 40 billion dollar of annual loss in ad fraud, which is immense. And that's why it's also a very lucrative hobby of fraudsters to get, to earn money this way. And this is also a reason why they will not stop. So if we then gonna look at emerging trends, and this will most likely not surprise you guys, but AI has a major impact in the upcoming time for ad fraud. AI is perfect, but it can also bring a lot of new ways of ad fraud in this whole digital industry. If we look, for example, at Performance Max campaigns, we see in Google Ads, Performance Max campaigns is one of the campaigns that has a lot of invalid clicks and also a lot of invalid placements. And also, if we're going to look at auto optimization campaigns, so imagine you have already bad data, you put it in campaigns which run on their own algorithm, and then if you put bad data in, you get even more bad data out. So that's why it's very important to make sure that your data is as clean as possible. So also those automated campaigns can work properly. Two other categories which are very interesting besides AI is MFA websites made for advertising. We'll say a bit more about this later on, but don't forget this one. And we have CTV spoofing. So CTV is connected TV. So think, for example, about smart TVs or also streaming servers like Apple TV, where nowadays as well you see a lot of advertisements on. So that's about the statistics. What I want to go over with you guys is some common types of ad frauds. What I said in the beginning as well already, bots are very known, but bots are actually used in all kinds of different ways. So how we can split invalid traffic is by general invalid traffic and sophisticated invalid traffic. So what is the difference exactly? General invalid traffic is kind of the invalid traffic which is easy to identify, so easy to detect, and then also we can block it. If you're gonna look at sophisticated invalid traffic, it's like the more, like the name already tells you, but it's the more tricky way of fraud, and it's harder to detect. So it requires like advanced analysis and even sometimes behavioral detection. If you're gonna look at some examples for the general invalid traffic, it's like crawlers. Crawlers, you can see it as kind of spiders that go through your website, and they will see what are you offering on your website, etc. Crawlers are not necessarily ad fraud. For example, Google Ads is using crawlers as well to see if your landing page is relevant to the ads that you are placing online. But they can also this way see if your landing page is confirmed to their policy. But don't worry, Google Ads is not charging any money for their own crawlers. Data centers, I will say a bit more about later on. And then we have the invalid user agents. So a user agent is kind of a string which will tell you what device are you using, what browser are you using, where are you from. So this is kind of a string that on the internet that tells you who you are, kind of your identity. But invalid user agents is when they are gonna make fake strings. So this way, for example, they can hide their origin, or they try to bypass some filters so that they are like not that easy to find.